Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is a long-awaited messages from your deceased loved ones. Sorry it took so long, and I am back. So here we are, and of course you're not going to know until you pick a card from the comments, because you're going to read the description of the person. Now, I want to appreciate and honor all of those who have given me tarot decks recently. They help enhance my channel and enhance the readings, as you're going to be able to tell here with all the different cards that I read and how they all somehow come together. The deceased loved ones got to choose their card. And without further ado, let's get started. Let me get these all situated. And all right, let's get started. Number 1. Let's put Buddha over there. Just in case you're wondering what that was, it's little gold Buddha. And it's super hot here, so I got the fan going, so sorry about the noise. But think of it as white, relaxing noise. Let's see what we got going on. But these readings, I don't do reversals because, you know, they're going to talk to me and kind of point out which cards and why they chose them. All right, so let me tune into this energy. This is an elderly man who feels like a young man. He feels like a teenager. He says he is so elated that he got to come here today. And he's saying that the line is getting long and he was able to, you know, be patient and know that his time was coming. And he's also talking about how his time was coming as far as him passing away. And he says he might have even told you about it. You know, like, I can see the angels, I can see my family members. He was telling you about his experiences before he passed. And he was a very grounded man in life, in this 3D reality. And what I'm getting here, he was a very religious man, but he was very open and kind. He was open to other viewpoints and spiritual thoughts, but he was always very grounded in his spiritual belief. And he says when he passed over, and you know, now he understands the vastness of those thought forms. Like, look at all the different religious bubbles. You know, and this card is of unity. He says he has found not being in the physical body a magnificent journey. He's saying of returning. He says he doesn't want you to be afraid. That you're afraid when you pass of what will happen. And he's trying to let you know, do not worry. Do not be afraid. He's telling me that you're a beautiful butterfly. You know, and this says butterfly of the soul. Did you see my kitty just walk by? I just got a new kitty. That was one of the reasons I didn't do readings. Anyway, back to the story. He's so proud of how you've conducted yourself after his passing. It's interesting. He's talking to his wife and a granddaughter. He says he has many grandchildren. He was just talking about with this butterfly, one in particular. And this with this Radha, he wants to say how much he loves, and he's talking to his wife, or his wife in this realm, in the 3D, that you guys were a perfect pair together, that you guys were soulmates, you guys were, he said he couldn't have asked for a better partner, and that he loves you so much. And he's saying that he wants you to be strong. He wants you to take care of yourself. This is a message for both and all, but he's trying to emphasize someone who is, what I'm hearing is burning candles at both ends. He wants you to take care. It's like, with the young lady, it's trying to work and go to school. And he's saying that you're trying to rush things, and he says there is no rush. There's no reason to rush. He's like, he knows that you want to get through this so you can move on with your life. And then it's like you guys were having a conversation, and you were saying, oh my gosh, what a crazy year. And he's like, oh my gosh, I've been watching it from up here. And he says the transitioning that he's seeing and the shifting of energy that he's seeing is absolutely fascinating to him. He's saying that's a part of his mission, that's a part of his job. That's why he was called home, because of it's a part of this unity that he is helping to embody. He's like a guide to people when they pass over, because there's so many passing right now. He's got a lot of charges that he's taking care of. He said he had a very short time where he got to relax, and it's been full force from there. He's like, but I don't get tired like you guys do, because there's no physical body to contend with. And as far as the girl the granddaughter or daughter who's going to school, he's saying that, you might be reconsidering your path, especially with what's been going on lately, and seeing how you can be of service. And he says, just explore it. Don't make any drastic changes, because there's a lot of emotion up right now. And yeah. And I don't know if you guys believe in this, but he's like, I've had to do a lot of clearing. That's what he's saying, since he's had to do all this work. And he wants all of his family members to, do your clearing, do your healing. And he's talking now with his wife. He says, we have been together in dreams. So, if you're listening to this, the wife is listening to this, that you've talked about dreams with your family about him. And indeed, he's confirming that that is the truth. It wasn't just a dream. It was a communication. He's talking to his wife still here. He's like, sometimes, because I'm not here, you don't have that peace of mind. It's like, I want you to find that peace of mind within. Because you guys are that soul flame. You guys are a soul group. You've been together. You had such a beautiful life together that even though you might not be consciously aware of it, you are involved in the work that he is doing as well. You are a support for him. And he's saying more, but he can't really go into it. He's talking to a younger male in the family here, where it says, be honest with yourself. Somebody's been less than truthful with themselves, and not only themselves, but with their family. Seems like a man who's married with children and a wife. Well, obviously he's married, but I think this of course, it's younger man to him, cheating or considering cheating on his family with someone at work, and he wants you to really go within and not only reconsider, but he's saying here, don't be the fool. And this card in the tarot means something different. This is a new beginning, but with this particular meaning, he's saying, don't be a damn fool. He's also saying that if it's something that you really want to do and you feel that this person is something worth breaking up a family for, then do it before you go and have an affair with this person. Because he's like, I'm watching you. Actually, he's saying that his wife, if you're listening, has been praying about it, wondering about it. Been praying and, you know, trying to have God or whomever you guys pray to give this young man guidance. And he's not really young. He's probably like late 30s, early 40s, maybe even older. But to him, you know, he's a father figure. Grandfather figure. He's saying now he has the deep knowing that he wanted, that he craved for. And he said sometimes he didn't even know he craved it. But he's saying the amount of satisfaction that he feels in doing this work is absolutely phenomenal. And, you know, of course, he's talking here with his wife and the young man. He's like, be a loyal heart, not only to yourself, but to others. And he's reiterating again, if this young man feels that he really does want to move forward with another relationship, that he needs to get out of the one he's in now and then move forward from there. And, he, you know, this is just reiterating, especially like, look at those little hearts that are floating. If I can get my hand in the camera. In here. You know, he's like, he loves his wife. He loved his family. And it's interesting because it's not coming from him, but it's like the wife is answering and the children are answering, saying he was a wonderful person. He knew how to inspire and bring awe into people's minds, like giving them, you know, like he's trying to do here with this young man, giving him opportunities to take a different path. It says, open to the magic of every moment and sense the awe and wonder in all of life. This attitude will keep you connected to the ecstasy of flow. And this is a message for all of the family, that a bountiful harvest and this abundance that is here and available is all around you. It's in you, it's without you. And to take it all in and enjoy every moment, because he's like, I did. He says he loves all of you. And he's so excited that you found this. And he's like, it's no coincidence that you found it. But he's like, trust me when I say that I am doing amazing work. And that when your day comes, that you'll get to know the magnificence of what he's experienced and experiencing. So he loves you, and he will see you in dreams. He will see you in any kind of communication that you're open to. And he's drawing my attention to this one, or it's the butterfly. So know that signs will come from him, and you will know because you'll feel it. All right. So thank you for joining me on this one. That was absolutely beautiful. I love his energy. Please comment on how that resonated with you and who it was to you. I always find that interesting. And of course, it's a general read, so Spirit has a way of making sure that it can help a lot of hearts, because there's a lot of similar things out in the world, right? Similar people, similar situations. But thank you so much for joining me. Now I'm going to go on to number 2. All right, so the first reading was amazing. And let's move it on to 2. Don't worry about the reversals. In this kind of a reading, I generally read more of I channel more of their energy and less about the position of the cards, because in this one there is no position. They kind of take me wherever they're going to go, and they're going to point out which one goes with the messages that they want to impart. So let's see, it looks like some of them aren't in shot, and I do tend to pick them up, so don't you worry. All right, so for number 2, and I always find it interesting because there always is one card that does represent them. It's their significator, is what they call it in tarot readings or fortune readings or whatever kind of readings you want to call it. So this is a young man who is very accomplished on this side as well as he was in life. He's telling me that he was a graduate student, like he was just about to finish some kind of major educational thing. Something about his heart. His heart gave out. He had a heart attack. Yeah, it was something very sudden. Or something, he's saying something about like, or his heart was given to another person, like a donor. He's saying that he wants to thank you for all of the support and generosity you gave him. There's a lot of emotion there. With this 2 of, well, actually, let's see. What do you want to do? Yeah, he's pointing me to this one because I was getting into the old mode of, taking cards in sequential order. But that's not how this one flows. So, unconditional love. Love yourself, others, and every situation, no matter what the outcome, what the outward appearances may be. He's saying in his earlier years, he was a bit of a troublemaker. He was somebody who caused a lot of drama, young angst. He was saying he chose this card because he was like, my family was always having to put out fires for me. Because I feel that this person was well taken care of financially. He didn't have a whole lot of wants. And this is the card to me I didn't point it out earlier, that is the significator. It says the divine director. Divine intervention is occurring. Know that you are being guided. Happiness is your purpose. And he said it, towards the beginning, especially early high school. You didn't know if he was going to graduate, and then he goes on to have this, getting a graduate degree, a higher level of degree. What I'm hearing is something about like medical research, biotechnology, something like that. And he just, with this one, it's nurture. It was like you nurtured him so much. He felt so loved and so taken care of. And of course in the natural way of growing up, especially being a teenager, he was a pain in the ass. But he wants to acknowledge how much you cared, how much you nurtured him. And he wants you to know that it was his time to go. Whatever this heart situation was, or something about the heart, it was time for him to go. Even though it was like he was on the precipice of this new chapter in his life. And he's saying something about like, while you're watching this, and when you find out about his passing, and this is with everyone, I'm sure, it's hard for them to breathe, because that sorrow was so deep, it like knocks the wind out of you. And he's saying during this reading, this might knock the wind out of you, but he wants you to know. And also he's saying something about his breathing in life. That it's okay to breathe. It's okay. He wants to go into like a darker side of yourself or someone that you know. He's like, there's someone who is in the middle of addictions right now. It says whether you're addicted to substances, food, people, sex, or overworking, take action to begin to heal the addiction and replace it with healthier alternatives. And if it's not you, I don't feel like it's you, the one who's watching this, but he wants you to pass on the message that you watched this, taping, and the message came that somebody needs to face their addictions. And he's like, I'm sorry that I couldn't. He's sorry that he couldn't be here longer. Because it was his time to go. Says, I wish I could have told you more often how much I love you. And he's like, and this is yet another chance. And he also says that he comes into your dreams and you guys have nice conversations. And now he's talking about a girlfriend, a girlfriend, and they had a baby together. Or okay, from what I'm hearing from him, his girlfriend that he had in life is now pregnant with someone else's baby. And he wants her to know how happy he is. And he hears her constantly in her mind, like, I wonder what it would have looked like if it would have been his and her baby. And he's saying, I acknowledge that I hear you saying this. And he's so excited that you're having, because what I'm getting is a little boy. And he winks and he says, maybe next time. He says he loves being on Earth, so he will come back pretty quickly is what I'm hearing. Well, he says not too quickly because he's got work to do there. Because he was always, even, in his teenage years, yeah, he was a bummer and he was annoying and out of control. But his energy is so beautiful and kind. He was a great kid, for the most part. He wants you, and he's talking with the girlfriend again. He's like, I want you to make a wish. Because wishes do come true. He's like, just because I had to go and just because I left doesn't mean that I wanted to get away from you or that we won't ever be together again. Because he's saying, you will. Because he's saying here, he still wants to make music with you. And he's saying, if you believe, just like here, anything is possible. Anything. He wants you to know that he loves you, that he's so excited that he got to come through here today, and he really does look forward to all the adventures. And he deeply loves all of you. Feel a lot of emotion. His heart is very open. All right. Let me write some notes down here. All right, so let's begin with number 3. Let me clear the energy from the last one. And again, sorry for the loud fan, but it is too stinking hot outside. Even though it's overcast, it's like still 90 degrees. Blah. Blah. Anyway, I'm focusing. I love doing these readings. I don't know why it took me almost a month to do them. And don't worry about the reversals. I don't do reversals in messages from your deceased loved ones because they get to pick the cards and tell me about it. So it's not really relevant as I say it. It happens. Let's see. Oh yeah, this one had an extra. And generally I'll pull the cards up so you can see it. So let me tune into the energy here. It's interesting, I got this overwhelming feeling of exhaustion. And then they pointed this out to me. So far, this person's energy is not really, it's not coming clearly because of the exhaustion. So let go of the exhaustion. You're here, you got here, you've got your cards ready. You know, let go of that and enjoy this moment. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to them. Because they stand on the other side of the table from me. Okay, so this is a woman. This was a woman who was a mother, and she's saying that she toiled greatly. It was like she had quite a few children and had to work. So she was working all the time. It's interesting. She's kind of going through layers. She says she's only been passed away for 3 months. In our time, 3 months. So she's still going through the healing process, because usually I don't encounter people who are like so much caught into the physical, mundane thoughts, feelings, kind of a thing. Not necessarily feelings, but more like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. You know, if they're in the non-physical, tired doesn't really correlate or calculate. This person did have children to take care of. This person was trying to make sure their children were taken care of. Her children were taken care of. She said she knew she could tell there was a change in the wind for her. She never spoke it, but inside, her guides and her family members that have passed let her know that this was coming down the pike. I think this was a sudden death. I think it was unexpected. I think it was respiratory, to be honest with you. And of course, in the time of COVID, that could very well be. And she's saying, yes, it was. She's trusting, and she's trying to trust, because right now she's very much, okay. So generally I don't get souls in these readings that have not fully transitioned from the physical, and she's holding on tightly to the physical realms, trying to make sure her children are taken care of. And that makes sense. Sudden death, you know, responsibilities, things she's got to take care of. She's trying to let go and trust, but she's just not quite there. Because what I'm hearing her say is there's nothing like a mother's touch. There's nothing like a mother's, you know, encouraging words and love and kindness. She was a very loving mother, obviously. You know, and she adores her kids and enjoyed everything about being a mother. She's telling me with this coral reef, she's saying that it feels like the wind, not the winds have changed, because like here it was the, change in the wind, but this one is, she's telling me, is it's like she's at the coral reef and the water keeps slapping up against her and she's just not acclimating well to the change. And she feels so sad that she couldn't be there. She couldn't continue on. And honestly, this person needs to be passed over into the light. And I do a lot of that. Did that a lot as a kid. And this is kind of interesting to me to have someone, because I'm kind of going, how did you get in line? Okay, so I'm hearing she has some higher guidance, soulmates on the other side is what I'm hearing, that are helping her do this. Because I think this is a message that people need to hear, it's just interesting to me, so I will try to shut up and listen. It says, Horus, cosmic gateway, your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are occurring. And that's for sure. For her and all of us. It's interesting too with this. It's that, like she's not quite past the threshold of the gateway. I think this was her last, not last, but her final, it was like her guides and the angels had to negotiate with her to say, hey, if we let you do this and you pass on the messages that you want to pass on, will you now go into the light fully? Instead of lingering in these different energies of, trying to make sure her children are okay and that, all those things that she now has no control. But when she passes over into the light and goes through that gateway, she'll gain so much more understanding, and then she'll have a certain amount of surrender and gloriousness about her because she'll understand it all. And she's desperately trying to have peace. Peace comes from remembering that only love is real. She's trying to let go. And it's so hard for her. Her mind keeps going round and round. How can I get back there? How can I get back there? I'm telling you, girl, as soon as you go with these guys, it's going to be a hell of a lot better. Okay, so there's a person that she is friends with, who she's dealt with in the physical, who is a psychic, and can see the trouble. Oh man, this is great. Crazy great. This psychic person, that's her friend or family member, whomever it is, helped correlate this, helped make it so she could come through. Because they see her thoughts. Because I see her just bawling and bawling. She's on her knees. And she's being comforted by like an angel of light or some kind of being that's standing up, and they're just full of light. And this psychic friend is saying, I will always point you in the right direction. And that's what the angels and the guides are saying to her too. Like, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. And she's at this crossroads. And she's still lamenting on the loss. It's like she knows what to do, and she's got all this assistance, and it's going to happen, trust me. Because at the end of this reading, I have a feeling that they're going to ask me possibly to help her. Or maybe not. Maybe they got it all covered. But like I said, this is just unusual for me. But I guess in this realm, anything is unusual. Surrender defensiveness. Defensiveness is a sign of weakness. To communicate in a more empowered way, stay centered and hear someone out. Then offer a clear, non-defensive response. She was a tough nut to crack. But she had lots of trust. She had a lot, not trust, but a lot of people. I mean, like look at this one where it's calling for trust. You know, how many layers had to be gone through. You know, and this one was talking about empowerment. And again, empowerment. So it's both here. And this is so fascinating because it's like it's a reading for her. You know, and maybe the psychic friend's going to listen to this and see this and go, holy mother. Because there's so much kindness in the world. There's so much kindness on the other side. You know, and how dark this card is, where she's like in a dark place. She had friends. It wasn't like she was in hell or anything, but she just didn't want to leave the earthly realms. Now, is there anything that I need to do to assist the situation? They're saying that this is complete. This was more for her and the psychic friend. And that's it. All right, so thank you for joining me on this one. A very fascinating one indeed. And I'm seeing that she's gone off and towards the light with guides and angels beside her. And I see her walking through, and she turns around and waves very timidly, I might add, but she is there. She did it all on her own. All right, so let me write a little note here, and thank you so much for joining me. You have a lovely time, day, night, whatever it is for you. All right, so let's see. All right, so let's get to reading number 4. So the last one was very interesting. If you feel so inclined, I would definitely go and look at that one. That one was one of the most interesting ones I have experienced doing this series. I do it, but without filming it and without cards. So let's get these ones out, and don't worry about if the cards come out reversed, because in these there are no reversals, because the messages come through, and of course the spirit that's coming through gets to direct me on where this goes and how the story will unfold and the messages that they want to express. Okay, so this one's also unusual. Alrighty then. So, this is going to be a channeled message for what I'm hearing is the collective. To me, there's always a significator, and this energy is very different from the energies of a deceased loved one. And the first card that showed itself to me was this Krishna. Devotion. So this cosmic higher level being has come through. Trust your spiritual guidance. Your commitment has been recognized. You are loved unconditionally. This being is talking about how after the 8/8 portal, this opening and all the transitions that are happening here for us here in 2020, he's saying that there's so many souls that are waking up right now, and then that's why a lot of people are purging things, breaking up, changing jobs, changing relationships, changing friends. Where there was harmony, there was disharmony, and vice versa. He's saying within all of this chaos, he wants us to find solitude within ourselves and to start listening more deeply to who they find on the inside, them, us, finding our own inner guidance. It says skilled work is rewarded, learning all there is to know about a topic, going back to school. And right now a lot of people are going back to school. And this is also talking about going and learning from your own inner library, your own inner university. And this actually kind of reminds me of what I would imagine and what I've seen in meditation of what Middle Earth looks like, or Inner Earth, or that magical place that has some kind of, I don't know, just magic oozing from it. He's asking you to, and me, which I'm not paying very good attention to, off and on, choosing a healthy lifestyle, because he's like, getting yourself to the stage where you can handle everything that's happening, you need to have a healthier lifestyle. Eat a healthful diet, get adequate sleep, and exercise regularly for optimal health. He's saying this will help you to transition more quickly into the new phase that's happening. He's like, the time of you being the observer is now done. And he welcomes you to the journey. Because anybody who's going to listen to this is obviously ready. It says, although you may not understand it now, everything happens for a reason. And it's interesting that it's the puzzle piece, because when I go through, meditations and during my spiritual awakening, and, now of course too, because everyone's constantly evolving, they'll always hand, like one little piece of the puzzle, and you're like, okay, what do I do with this? And they're like, well, hold on to it for later. And then sure as hell, later on down the line, there's the other piece, and I'm like, oh my God, these go together. And then slowly but surely you make a picture or some kind of epiphany or understanding. And this is fork in the road. And he's saying, sorry to tell you, but you already passed the fork in the road and you're already on the path. And if it's appropriate for all, like this channeled message from this being, and it could be, is it? Yeah, it's Krishna. That there is no such thing as death. So he's saying there's a million chances for you to keep evolving, keep growing. So he's like, no pressure, but this is a golden opportunity right now. Surrender to the magic of who you are. How amazing. It says, you have all the magic. We have all the magic within us. Even in the mundane aspects of life, remember that you are a magical being with a uniqueness and worth that come from just being you. That's beautiful. I don't even know if I've ever seen this card before. Beautiful. And he's saying the wisdom that's going to come from this transition. And it says cat, intuition. I don't know if you can see it, but and there's another kitty cat right there. He's like, the amount of wisdom and intuition that you're going to gain from this is going to be the word he is using is astronomical. Like the amount of opening that is occurring, because so many people are opening, it's just going to accelerate everyone else's learning and growing. Ooh, that makes me excited. I'm like, ooh. I'm like, me too, right? Yeah. So interesting that his skin is blue and this whale is blue, because he was pointing me to the whale and saying he wants us to embody the fullness of love, because look how satisfied that whale looks. And then he's like, and see how it's blue? I don't quite understand the correlation. What's the correlation? He said that's a coded message for some of you. Please leave me a comment on what you think that might be. Maybe some of you are, I don't know. Leave me a comment so I can see. Yeah, he's just talking about, because wasn't there where it was talking about the inner universities, or was that the last one? Because the last one was pretty amazing too. Not anywhere like this, like a channeled reading, but you might want to check that one out too if this one fascinates you. So this one to me is kind of like the inner universities, the inner you, going within, taking time out, enjoying. This one has a lot of downloads to it too. I can feel it. So you guys are probably, leave me a comment about the downloads that you feel with this, because I'm definitely feeling it. It says, ask for help from others. So he's saying if you don't feel it, then ask for it. Not only from him, but your guides, your angels, Jesus, whomever you pray to. Ask for the help. Don't forget to ask, because this is a free will situation that requires us to have, for them to have permission. Because they can't go off willy-nilly going, I'm going to go help so-and-so. I'm sure they need it. That's not the gig. So this one is saying, Artemis Guardian, you and your loved ones are safe and spiritually protected. And that's exactly what I felt, the fear coming up. I don't know if you can even, if I can focus. Let's see. So spiritually protected. So they were just wanting to, whomever, is wanting to remind you that you are spiritually protected. That when you ask for help and you start getting these downloads, if you're already getting them, whatever the case is, because each person's going to have their own level of, where they are. And I guess I shouldn't say level, because that implies a hierarchy, or like grades, like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, you know what I mean? That you are protected. And I don't know why I switched from him to they, but maybe it's your guides that are talking now. They want you to be gentle with yourself. They're saying that this transition, since it can be amazing and life-altering, for some of you it could be a little jarring, and that's why it's saying you're protected, and where was the other one? That there's no rush, be gentle with yourself, surrender to the magic of who you are, that sometimes healing needs to happen, old wounds, stuff like that, the baggage we all carry around as humans, that needs to be cleared out so you can take on more energy. And then of course, when you think you got things pretty cleared out, but that's a story for another day. All right, I hope this was helpful. Please leave me a like, share, and subscribe. This one was amazing, and the energy is obviously shifted. Like the first two were the norm of the messages from deceased loved ones. The last two, woo, this one was a blower too. Well, I should say blew me out of the water. But all right, you guys, love you, and I hope this is helpful. I'll see you on the flip side. Bye.